Okay, good morning, people. I hope we can start now.
Yes.
Yeah, I see many of our undergrad students are also here. Most of them I see are our own students. I can see some postgraduate students as well. So, good morning, everyone. Today, we will do some examples or some experiments on GNU radio. You cannot call this a class because to take a class on GNU radio, I have to be some kind of an expert on GNU radio, which I am not. But I'm using it for the past several years. So I can tell you how to do some of these things so that you can get started and you can as well make smarter things out of it, much more than what I say. The plan is to give you some basic understanding, some manipulation abilities, etc. If some of you are interested in more advanced levels, I can do that also. In the sense, some of the experiments I've done are of advanced levels, which we have taught to other people. But still, I will not claim myself to be an expert overall of GNU radio. Okay, so the agenda for today. So it looks like I'm sitting on some machines. Okay, let me control. Okay. Okay, so I'm having two machines. People who sit in my class may know that I use two machines, one Windows and one Linux. That is just for convenience and check whatever I say is correct on both the machines. Otherwise, I say something for Windows, it may not be true for Linux. Something said for Linux may not be true for Windows. Okay, this happens because GNU Radio also is an evolving program or software. It has matured. Even 3-4 years back itself, it is a very, very mature thing. But unfortunately, everything was built for Linux. So if you have Linux, you have a very, very flawless experience. I request Professor Kumar to look at the chats and notify me if something which needs to be answered, or he himself can answer because he knows enough of this also. Okay? So Kumar can just help me with the questions. What is GNU radio is the question. Okay, so I think it's better seen than said. So I will show you what GNU radio is in a minute. So please be patient. I'm a little slow, but I will show you what it is. Of course, that is the purpose of this particular class today. Or it's not a class, but a particular session. So I will just call it an interactive session. Okay, so I made a brief agenda of what are the things that I'm going to show. Some of you are familiar with these things. You don't have to sit through all that what I'm saying. Okay, maybe because it's just redundant. So here is the outline. So let me try to share the screen. So here is the outline that we have. Our first experiment. Okay, everything is based on GNU radio. At the end, I will ask you back what is GNU radio, just like the Ramayana story. After all the Ramayana, I will ask you what Sita is. Okay, or who Sita is. Same thing. But but I know you're much better than that. So let us kind of enthuse ourselves with an experiment. Oh my God, I made a spelling mistake right at the beginning, but that is very common because we are anyway I'm doing these things on the fly with you. Okay, I may have done something similar, part of it here and there, but many times I do it on the fly so that I also learn from what you do. So it is not can you are here, it's can you here, and then the problem you can understand. I've typed it on this Linux machine on the other side, and now I'm showing it on a Windows machine. So I had to go back to edit it. So please bear with me. Some mistakes like that will appear, but we will interactively correct it. It is can you hear one head? Of course, if you are asking some kind of a puppy this question, yeah, he or she will say, yes, I can hear. I am a smart animal. I can hear very low frequencies, much below this. But human here cannot hear one hertz, is what I think most of us. But let us see what does it mean in the context of GNU radio when you say you cannot hear 1 hertz. That's our first experiment in GNU radio. By the way, these are all experiments. I'm not going to talk about theory unless somebody asks a specific question on the theory. I'll only show you, okay? And then we move on because our today's agenda is mostly with audio. This thing does not move. Okay, it's moving like this. Okay, it does not move. Which can we do? When we do, we'll go to audio recording and AM transfer so that you can also play with some signals. You also get a feel of the signals, and you can also manipulate, and you also get to know what does it mean by transmission, etc. But all the job is done in software, except for the playing out where we will use the audio hardware of your computer. Then we will go to a slightly more complicated experiment. Okay, this complicated experiment I've used so that I want to show you that all the power of Python can sit together with GNU radio to create very powerful experiments and demonstrations, etc. Okay, and then finally I will slightly more advanced but more simple of the simplest of the experiments that we do today is this last one that I've shown is on feedback loop. That is just to give you some warning about how things work in GNU radio. Okay, that's the agenda. We need to use GNU radio. Otherwise, you'll just watch the story that I'm telling and yawn once in a while and then drop off. But please do the experiment. We have already sent you instructions of how to install GNU radio and how to get going, etc. So please switch on your GNU radio and double click on your GNU radio companion if you are on Windows, or type GNU radio hyphen companion if you are on a Linux terminal. Then you will get GNU radio companion. And so please open that. We are going to experiment with all this. Okay. Okay, so let me, for today's demonstration, for the first time also, I'm using a Windows machine on GNU radio to demonstrate. So there may be some pitfalls on this, but we will rectify. I'm hopeful that any such problem can be rectified. And I also have a backup support from a Linux machine. So in case things do not work out, I'll go there. Okay. Okay, so the experiments are clear. This is what we are going to do. So straight away to GNU radio. Okay, and then after the first experiment, I will answer those questions about GNU radio. Okay, so can you hear 1 hertz? What a crazy question. Let's see what is crazy about it. So I'm going to take GNU radio companion. Okay, I take a new QTGUI. So I get a blank thing like this. Okay. Feel free to type on this chat screen if something is not. Let me just close out all this. We don't want this. Here's the chat screen. Yeah. Here's the chat screen. Okay, there's only one question. No problem. So Professor Kumar will kind of give me a notice in case there are questions on the chat screen because I am fully on the GNU radio window. Okay, so can some of you say or give me a small message that everything is okay, you were able to start GNU radio? Some of you were not able to start GNU radio, just type there GNU radio not started so that I'll wait 2 minutes. Let me see. Strange how many windows I need to play around with. I close all the unnecessary ones. This one we just had a look, so we don't have to look at this. Okay. How to install GNU radio? Oh my God. How to set the output language as Python? How to open? Not worked. So when I have several such problems, my usual one-line approach is simple. I'll just ask Professor Appaiah. Professor Appaiah, please. So Karthik, Joseph, Raghav, all these people, Professor Appaiah has already sent you a set of instructions that to get GNU Radio working. 3.7.13.5, I think, was the preferred version for flawless installation. All you need is Microsoft Visual C++ or Visual Studio 2015 plus. That's all you need to support this. And together we were able to get this GNU Radio working on a large number of machines, not only in Mumbai but in other places also. So we are fairly confident that you can get it working on a Windows machine. On a Linux machine, extremely easy. Just type, if you're on Ubuntu, just type sudo apt install GNU Radio. So I type here on Ubuntu sudo apt install GNU Radio. Will do the job for you. Okay, it will give you a version 3.7 point something. You can also get the latest version 3.8, but you have to change the repository. It's just about one more command, but let me not go there. You can straight away type sudo apt install GNU Radio in Ubuntu. If you are on Fedora, then of course the yum install will work for you. So just one command, Linux will have, or if you're on Mint or any other version, in one command you can get GNU Radio. Okay. Yeah, here is Ishan who uses Arch Linux. You can type sudo pacman -s GNU Radio. That's Ishan. Thank you for that. I'm not installed in that version. Okay, so that is it. Very good. So many people, Daco also is okay now. Many people are okay. So please use it. If not, just watch my screen carefully. You can take snapshots and keep the window in. In the undergraduate class, I already showed you some GNU radios. Postgraduate students, if you're new to this, feel free to ask. Professor Appaiah is also here. I'm also here. We'll help you out. Installations, we may have to move it out of the class because it will take a lot of time and we may have to share the window, etc. Okay, back to our question. What is it by 1 Hz? So I go to the window. I bring in this sinusoid first. So here is type Control F and source. Control F, Control plus F will do search. So if you see the chat window, I have written Control plus F. So you can type Control F. It will open the search window and in it type source. And you get the signal. Choose the signal source. That signal source is our first object to play. Okay, of course, some of you may be familiar. Don't worry, we are going to say things that are not familiar to you or things that you did not notice before. It will come in a minute. Those already know it, feel free to play around. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a frequency of 1K. If you look inside, you can see that this frequency is 1000 is 1 kilohertz. This waveform is a cosine. You can choose a sine also, no problem. Amplitude is 1. Okay, I'll just, for changing something, I'll just put here 0.9. Just to tell you that you can change those values, absolutely no problem. Most important is the output type is complex. Change that to float. Complex means it is like Python in the previous class. We have two real numbers, a plus j times b. Whereas what we are going to do is about audio or waveforms which are real, which only has one real value per instant. So that is why I chose float. And then I click OK. You can see the color here change to orange. So from blue to orange, blue to orange. Now it's blue, which means it's complex. It outputs two real numbers per instant. Whereas now it is orange, means only one output, a real value is output at each instant. So GNU Radio is color coded. The blocks, the terminals, color says what kind of output. When you see blue, it is two real numbers. If you're using a floating 32 arithmetic, two floating 32 will come out for a blue. One float 32 will come out for a orange. And there are other colors also. Green is integer, 16. And then you have, maybe it depends on your machine. So you can see that. What I know for sure is that pink or magenta is 8, out is 16, this is 32, and float is 64 because I have a 64-bit machine. So it is float is 64, and blue is 264 bits. Okay. I think nowadays Genie Radio only ships the 64-bit version. Okay. Okay, so float is 64, complex is 2 times 64, integer is 32, 16-bit is called short integer, and 8-bit is character. So you have all the parties here. Now the experiment is very simple. I want to hear this bloody sound. So let's go to Kumar is recording, so I should not say bad words. Okay. So I will take this audio. I'll take the audio sync. Okay. So remember, this has to be float. So it has to be float. And then all I do, please watch, I connect the out to the in here by simply clicking on that. If you are used to MATLAB Simulink, you will see that this is very similar to what you do there. But here, I will say, and I will also justify that there are much more smarter things happening behind the screens. Okay. Everyone in page, signal source cosine of frequency 1K, amplitude of 0.9, directly connected to the audio sync. There is only one parameter we have to watch out here. That is the variable which is put here called sampling rate. So that is 32,000. You can think of my sound card operating at 32,000 speed now. So we have set the sampling rate to match the sound card. Think of it that way, but we can of course play around with this number also. It's not like that. We can play around it. It's not like sacrosanct. Okay. So very good. Now we are going to play the song or this whatever cosine. Just imagine what will you hear. Let me check if there are answers on the screen. Not working on Ubuntu. Yeah, Danny, how are we changing the color? Go inside, double click on the block like what I am doing now. Output type, choose the type. The type needs to match because these are inputs and output devices. Whatever you output, someone else has to take as the input. So they have to match. If not, they cannot operate. You give more than what the other guy can handle, the other guy will fall down. Okay, you give it less, then the other guy will grow impatient and create problems. Okay, so that is the problem. You have to do this very flawlessly, smoothly, so the data types need to be matched. Just like when you do an assignment operation in any of the languages, including Python, then sometimes you do end up with type mismatches. Though Python has smart way of parsing things. Okay. Okay, people. So now let me again check. To on Ubuntu, not working on Ubuntu. How are we changing the color? Now that I already said. Zoom. Anant Kumar, what is that on Ubuntu? Yeah, he's just suggesting Control plus Scroll can do the zooming. Yeah, but be careful. That's depending on the version. Some versions it may not work. Okay, so don't worry about if the zoom does not work for you. Yeah, zoom middle mouse click can do the zoom for you. Middle mouse scroll can also do the zoom for you if you have a middle mouse scroll. My computer here does not have a middle mouse scroll, so I am going to put another mouse additional. Okay, so I just put an additional mouse just to do that middle mouse sticks. Okay. What is the sampling rate exactly? Ishan Shailesh is asking, or Ishan is our student. Okay, so yeah, no problem. I'll tell you what it is. Forgot. Went away. Okay. Yeah, I did something and layout got changed. No problem. How do I see the chat? Okay, I'm not seeing the chat thing, but
So just click on the chat with everyone on top beside your video.
yeah, I did that several times. So I think it is a layout problem. So I think this should sort out. 1 second, I'll just try out. God, come. Okay, now I got it back. Thank you, Raman, for the suggestion. How the connect link came from signal source to audio sync, I'll show you exactly in this. So just if you want to remove it, just click there and delete. It will just go. So now to get the link, I click the output terminal, which is the orange colored one here, the out terminal of the signal source. Click there and then come to the next guy, click there. They will connect. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Raman, for answering that. Yeah. Okay, so that's as simple as that. Now let us go and play. So playing is simple. First you have to save file, save as somewhere. I will save. Just let me give the name audio1 and just save. Okay, save by any name that you like. Okay, I will now play so that you can see what is my ears. I should watch out because otherwise it will burn my ears. Okay, this is pretty much how 3 decades back Doordarshan started its day, by putting a tone for everybody to sync their devices into. So this is what the tone nowadays you see the telephones and other people also use similar tones behind to give various indications. Okay, so that's a pure tone that you have heard. Most of you might have heard that tone. Let's see. Anybody who heard the tone, or anyone who was not able to get the tone? This is a Windows machine, but it should work equally well on the Linux machine also. If you want, I can switch over to that. Okay, so I play once again. Play is this button right above. That is an arrow for play. Typically, you will see that play arrow in a remote control or on your TV screen, etc. Plus that button. That button has a different color. If you're using 3.7 version of GNU Radio, it will be green. But for this 3.8, it is a blank color. But remember to save before you press that button. Otherwise, the button icon will not be active. Linux will not face this problem. Windows will have this problem. You have to save first. Okay. Nagasai is, I think it's Saket. Yeah. So Saket is asking, should the input frequency be 1 hertz? Yeah, sure. I'm going there. Currently, we put 1 kilohertz, and even some of us who have lost their hearing abilities because of the city atmosphere, etc. We are very poor below 100 hertz. For example, if I play out a 60 hertz song, 60 hertz tone, many of you will be frightened that you are not hearing it, and that is some kind of hearing impairment. No, it's not a hearing impairment. Our brain has smartly learned to cancel out all those noises. And so we have moved away from that sensitivity on very low frequencies. But people coming from villages, they still have their natural abilities retained. And they can hear all the way up to 20-22 hertz. Okay, so it is just a skill that we have lost. And the civilization has its own drawbacks. I'm not saying the others are uncivil, but we have lost in the name of civilization a lot of this sanity of good surroundings and clean air and things like that. Okay. Yeah, so Professor Kumar is recording. I should be apolitical in my statements. Okay, so once again, if I play, I have to burn my ears again. That's all. So I'll just run a little far and. Okay, those who have finished, please go and play with different frequencies, and you can change this number and play around. Okay, maybe that's a nice point. I should show you how to change the amplitude of this, right? So there is a nice utility. You can control things. This is called range. So if you type range, there will be this GUI range will come up. Okay, search for range. Bring that guy, double click or drag him into the window, and let's give him a name. Double click and give him a name, volume control. Right, volume control. That's our volume control. And we want it to be type floating point. The volume, let's start from 0 to, let it go to 1. And in steps of, let's say, 0.1. Okay. So default value, just give some middle value. Don't put 0.5. Okay, so it's floating point, that's important. And other things are all there. And there is something called widget, which is widget. So let's give it a knob. Knob means it's like a radio. You get a volume control. Unlike your mobile phone, you will tend to see a volume control which you can turn left and right or circle around. Okay. So this volume control I have defined, and then I'm going to put, instead of this amplitude here, I'll put volume control. So this volume control is a name ID here. That's the same ID I have written here. That means amplitude will take the value from that volume control. Click OK and play. So the sound will come, but there is, if you expand this, there is a volume control. Okay. Okay, of course it's off. Now I can switch it. Right? So of course, you can choose something which is suitable to a ear than just some very wild sound coming to our ears. It's not wild, but it is really piercing. Okay. Okay, all clear about this knob? But some of you saying, hey, such a nice program, why is it giving you such a horrible interface of look? Okay, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, we can change it. If you go to this tools and then set default Qt GUI theme, just click there. You can choose these themes. By the way, if you are on a Linux machine, perhaps that tools default theme may not be visible to you. I can check here. Yeah, it may not be visible to you. In that case, you can go to options. At the end, there is something called QSS theme. Just type there, if you are on a Linux machine, type there /user share GNU radio themes projector.qss. I'm just showing you so that you can type it if you want a theme in your Linux machine. If you go to that directory themes, you will see there are 4 or 5 themes. They give you different color combinations. Projector is good when you are doing a presentation, so that's why I use the projector scheme. It's called a QSS style sheet. So if you are familiar with CSS, etc., you will see that this is Qt style sheets is the name of it. Okay, you can choose, but unfortunately I'm on the Windows machine, so this won't work for me. So I'll just don't change anything. Okay, now if you run, you get better backgrounds. And then you can kind of control your, okay. So more visible backgrounds you see. Okay, of course, this widget is too big. You can make it small. I'll show you as we go on. Okay. You don't need such a big volume knob, but this is taking it because there is no other thing running. So it's a small. It's only this much. Yeah. Okay, let me check whether there are questions. But let me stop this fellow because it is really pricking my ears. Okay. Okay, questions. Please play once again. Should the input frequency 1 Hz? Yes, Saket, you're coming there. Cannot save the file. Error is coming. Please go to a directory where you have permissions. Govind, you should save it in a directory where you have permissions. Okay, so you can choose go file like here, save as, and choose a directory where you have permissions. In Windows, you can choose. Do not choose Windows or anything like that. Just go to your desktop or window or documents or downloads, wherever you like. Create, but you should have permissions. Linux also similar. You should not write into the system directories. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay. I'm getting a slider for QTGUI range. Very good. Yes, Raman, you should get a slider. That is because I have chosen something else here. If you go inside, you will see that I have chosen a knob. But if you choose a counter plus slider, counter, slider, knob, all these are options. So if you put a slider, you can slide the volume. I can show you also slider or even counter plus slider. Why not? It will. Where is this? Okay, to switch this off. Right, so here I can do that. I can do that. Okay, that is that, or you can use this number here. Those are all simple control options that you can use, play around, and you can get familiar with these things. Okay. If all are set, we can move further. Missing XTerm executable, although I could play. If you are Saket, if you are on Windows, the first time you will see that particular thing. It is only once, so don't worry about that. XTerm is not required. Genie Radio has its own way of showing things, so don't worry about that. Some warnings may come in Windows. For some other people, you will not see something, but please press Alt Tab if you are on Windows in particular. Linux does not have any of these problems. Windows Alt Tab and see if that volume control is lying in one of those tabs. Okay. How do we go to properties? We are just double click on the thing, just double click, it will show the properties. Or right click and come below, there is a properties. Okay. So either way will work. Double click or right click and choose. Manish Chandra, the volume knob doesn't seem to be changing volume for me. The problem looks to be that the name of this amplitude should be volume control, the same as the ID you had defined on top. This volume underscore control is taken from the ID volume underscore control here. Those have to be the same. That is why your volume control is not coming. Ishan, that no XTerm, do not do that. XTerm is default in all Linux distributions, so don't do that because that XTerm is specific to Windows, right? And that apt, of course, won't work there. Yeah, so no need of installing XTerm. It's just a warning. Windows is saying that it does not have XTerm, so there is some native terminal which it uses. Saket is saying, I got warning on Ubuntu. I don't know. I have not seen that. Yeah. So, but Ishan is confirming that it worked for after doing that, not before. So good. No problem. Yeah. Thank you, Ishan. Sorry that I mistook your comment. So yeah. So please go ahead as Ishan's suggestion. If you're on a Linux terminal, there's nothing to worry. Just sudo install. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now we are going to our one heads. Okay, good. So going to one heads, that's the thing of this experiment. Let us put one heads. Okay. And let's play. Who prevents us? Let's click and make Murray. Oh, nothing is coming. Maybe because the volume is down, I can increase the volume. No, looks like nothing is coming. Okay, so if you are not hearing anything, that is okay. But if you are hearing something, then there is a problem. Please do check out if you are hearing something, either your ears or the program. Okay, so clearly one heads we can't hear. Why is that this computer is not able to play one heads? Is it not playing one heads and now we are not hearing it, or where is the trouble? So let us go and do a dissection. Where is this thing having problem? Of course, our audio sync is sitting there, should work fine. So let us go inside and see the signal. Somebody is getting a sound at one heads. I shouldn't be hearing it. So Qt time sync, let's take. Where is the Qt time sync? Yeah. So this is a oscilloscope that you can use to see the time signals. Bring him here, connect him out. On Windows machine, the color automatically changes, but even in latest Linux machines, but be careful here, go inside and change it to float. Okay. Please go inside, change it to float. Otherwise, it will not work. It will complain. Okay. Okay. Some of you may see that it complains actually. So it is because you are not going inside and changing it to float. Okay. So one heads, we want to see this. Let's go inside. Now you see that, okay, there's some ups and downs, but is this a sinusoid? Bad. Okay. So looks bad. So there are ways out. So you can actually, if you have a middle click option, then click middle, and then you can you get a control panel here. If you do not have a middle click, there are ways out. Close this. Go to this sync here. Double click on this configuration, and there is a control panel. You can put control panel. Yes. If you are there already, you also give some good width to the line that things will show up more thicker. Okay, something like that. Okay. So control panel will be visible now if I click running. Okay, so this control panel is there. Control panel, because then I can control these things a little bit. So we want to increase the length of the signal so that, okay, you can see the x-axis is increasing so that when it becomes sufficiently big, I will start seeing the sine wave. Okay, good. I am having the sine wave roughly. But this sine wave is moving. That you already know that if you are on a CRO, oscilloscope, etc., it's kind of a raster scan or a similar scanning method is used to show this. So you have to trigger it correctly. So instead of free, if you choose auto, it will trigger and stop for you, right? But that's okay. Now that we understand it, just put it back to free because it can run. It's a real waveform, so it should run. Okay. Okay, so look at the numbers below, then you will realize that, okay, one cycle of this, we can actually stop. Press the stop button here, you stop, and then look at that. One cycle is from 200 to something like 1300 or something. Okay, so yeah, 300 to 1300. I think that's the accurate one. 1000 millisecond or 1 second is the time period of this waveform. That's how we generated. No wonder we were not hearing it. We can as well go inside here and see how the data is packed. If you just go inside and click the stem plot, you will see that the data is packed very heavily here. If you do not see the stem plot and you do not have this middle mouse option, go back to your thing, double click on this thing. In the configuration, there is a stem plot. You can click it to yes. So if you don't have middle mouse, you can do that also. Double click this Qt GUI time sync. Config tab, go to the config tab, and then the option of like control panel, just below that, you will see stem plot. Just click that to yes. Then you will get that. Now, one smart thing about this Qt objects is that you can zoom in by simply selecting any portion you like. For example, I choose a rectangle. You just go zoom in there. Like that. Now you start seeing, oh, here is actually the sine waves that I have given. These are the samples of the sine wave which are given to the audio samples. And somebody was asking, what is 32K? 32K is the meaning is that there are 32,000 samples in a second, which is being passed on to that. Too many samples, that's a problem. So, of course, you see, in a second, there are too many samples coming in. Very bad. I don't want to have this. I'm going to reduce the number of samples, okay? So that I can see a nice visualization of this. All set, so I'm going back here. Back here to my parent setup, okay? My fellow here, you can look at this GUI sync. This is at sampling rate, okay? I want to reduce that. Audio sync, of course, I don't want to reduce the sampling rate, so I'll choose the sampling rate as the previous one, 32 kilohertz. Because audio sync has certain cards, so it should work like that. For the time being, let's even disable. You click it and press D, it will disable. Okay. But if you disable the audio sync, there is somebody who should tell us where the time or who should control the time of this operation. How much data should pass over this link at the speed that we want. Okay. So what we are going to do is that we are bringing a block which is a software clock, similar to a software clock. It's called a throttle block. It's a buffer block. And we put it in the middle. We click here, click here, click here, and click here. Okay. Of course, now you see it has changed color to blue and things like that. But what we want is orange. So go inside, change everything to orange. Okay. We already made this plot, so it's okay. Okay. Now what I want is that I want to reduce this sampling rate to something lower. I want to put, instead of 32,000, why I need only 32 samples. I just want to see less, so I put 32. Okay, so audio sync is out. So this is 32. So now if I click the picture, it will show us the waveform much more nicely. Here is our fellow. Very nice. We can see the sine wave. We can choose a portion. Okay, and maybe one again, go inside. And of course, now you can change the color, etc. If you have middle mouse button, sorry about that. If you have middle mouse button, you can change the color, like line color. We can make it red, and also we can put what is that, line style or line marker, things like that. So you know where the samples are, etc. Okay. or you can use this stem plot. Now we understand what is 32, because 1 hertz is here. That's 1 second. There are 32 samples in that particular interval. Okay, because we have a 1 hertz signal sampled at 32 hertz. 32 samples in this signal. But you can see, if you remember your theorem, some of you who already have done signal systems, etc., will remember that if you can sample about twice the frequency, that should be good enough to represent things. Those who are going to learn that, there is nothing to worry. If you take enough samples of a sine wave, you can represent it faithfully or accurately. That's all we are saying. So 32 is more than enough to get a very nice, smooth signal. Okay, now understand what that sampling rate means. Okay, 1/32 is the space difference between these two, or the time difference between two samples. Okay, you can do all these controls. There are quite a nice controls. You can start, stop, auto scale, a lot of things you can do. Okay, nice controls. Looks very cute actually, this one. Here, once you use all the controls, like a sophisticated device in your lab. Okay, all set. Let me just check if there are questions. Throttle block. No, Kankana, let me just, cannot create connection on Windows. Let me just come. No, Manish, I am on a Windows machine. So the old versions, it will not show up as a thick line. It will only show as a dotted line in some old Windows versions. I am getting error, cannot create connection. This can happen primarily because you are not connecting an out to an in. You are connecting an out to an out or an in to an in. That is not allowed in Genie Radio. An output port has to be connected to an input port. Sometimes your port may be looking at, maybe inverted, etc. So look at the out port and connect to the in port. Or, okay, then Sakeda, 1 hertz, I can hear a dot-like sound like poking. Array, man, change your sound card. No. There are a lot of impairments that we do not know in advance. So yeah, but you can figure it out eventually. Okay, Kankana, all the connections are coming as dotted. No, Windows 3.7 version of Genie Radio on Windows has this kind of problems. It's not problems, it will work. We have seen it that it will work without any flaw. From 3.8 version, that's also available for Windows, but it's a little difficult to get it installed. There is no problem. It works out very nicely. So in a couple of versions, now it is Windows Genie Radio has become standard. In couple of rollouts, this will become very, very smooth and streamlined. So don't worry about that. Throttle block. So throttle block is just like a buffer. It ensures that the computer is aware of the speed at which things are operating, and it synchronizes the old block, what is called flow graph. See, there may be several sources, there may be several sinks, there may be several operations in the middle. Somebody should tell at this instant, all the inputs move so much forward, all the outputs move so much forward. So there has to be some kind of synchronization or synchronized scheduling which should happen in Genie Radio. And the throttle block helps in aligning that timing reference. If there is a hardware clock, like a audio card or computers, some device, some clocking device, etc., any hardware clock, then you do not need this throttle, because that clock will act as the master clock. But if there is no clock, then what happens is that, or earlier it used to happen that most of the computer CPU cycles will be stealed to run or stolen to run Genie Radio. As a result, the computer will choke. To avoid that, this throttle block will steal only the required number of cycles from the CPU. Okay, so it helps overall management of the operation without choking the computer. That is the meaning of throttle block. If you don't have a hardware clock, you have to have one throttle. You only should have one throttle somewhere. That's good enough. Okay, Abhishek, that also answers the buffer block. Okay. Arif, repeat how you got stem plot. There are two options. Go inside this fellow and then config. Here is stem plot. So control panel, legend, axis, stem plot. Just make it yes. It will come out. Okay. But if you like continuous outputs, do not put stem plots. It will only give you discrete outputs at different intervals. Okay. So that's how you get stem plot.
So the stem plot option is not available for me.
One second. Yeah, please, sorry. Can you?
So the stem plot option is not available for me. It's not showing up in the config option.
What version of GNU Radio are you on?
3.7. 3.7.13.
In Windows, no?
Yeah, in Windows.
It was there. So then do you have a mouse?
Yeah, I have a mouse, but I'm not using it.
Then with a middle click. If you have a mouse with a middle click, then just go inside, run the program, go inside the window, middle click with the mouse. It will show you stem plot here.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, that's another option. Okay. Good. So all this is set. We saw the nice pictures. We know what the sampling rate is. Okay, now just for curiosity, people have no. Let me answer. Are there more questions? I didn't understand the use of throttle, Mithali. The use of throttle is that if you don't use throttle, the flow graph or the GNU Radio program that you're seeing does not know about how much speed the system should operate. So it may steal more than its fair share of cycles from the CPU. So if you put a very high speed, 32 kilohertz is a small speed, so nothing will happen. But if you put 32M, right, so 32 megasamples per second there, and then try running that, some of the computers may choke. The reason being that GNU Radio just drags all the CPU clocks for its own use. But throttle tells us, okay, here is the speed at which this flow graph is operating, and it will kind of mimic a hardware clock so that enough cycles from the CPU are taken for the GNU Radio program, and rest of them are left to a lot of other background programs are running in your CPU. Okay, so throttle creates or prevents choking of the CPU. That's one thing that you can say. Second, if there are many sources and sinks, there should be some reference with respect to time advances. At each time instant, or at each set of time instants, all the sources should move so much data to the next block. The next block should move so much data to the next block, etc. So the synchronization of this data movement through the flow graph is achieved using throttle, and it helps in such a way that the computer is not choked and it's freed up for other applications also simultaneously. See, I am not able to see a sine wave, rather getting straight line. This is okay, because we are only seeing a part of a sine wave, very small part of a sine wave. That is why it is a straight line. If you increase the number of points, okay, then you will be able to see it. You can see it here now. I will show this here. Currently, this is already a, let's look at this portion. So you get something like that, right? And so then if you increase your X max in the control panel, I'm sorry, I'm not running this because I held this party, so I have to run this. Okay, let me just go back to the picture. Okay, maybe go back, then I again need to change the frequency to 1 Hz. But what I'm suggesting is that see, you can keep clicking this press button, this here, X max plus, press this plus button, and the time you will see, instead of to 30 seconds, it will go to 300 seconds, etc. Then you will start seeing the waveform. See, when you have 1 second, you will start seeing 1 cycle. Okay. So if you are in millisecond, please keep pressing the plus button. Okay. There is another option. If you like, you can click the middle, and then in the number of points, click the number of points, and you can make it to a bigger number. I think it will go all the way up to 8192, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it's not running because, okay, don't worry. I'll just show you here. I will go back here. Okay, but now I need to change all the things. So see, you can try out, and if it does not work, I'll do it right from the beginning. Okay, please increase that X max button in the X max button. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You are you seeing it now?
Yes, sir. I'll do it.
Yeah. If not, let me know. We will figure it out. Oscillator is not moving after putting throttle. What do you mean by the oscillator is not moving? Oscillator shouldn't move, no?
Sir,
you mean-
the problem is over. I resolved it.
Okay, no problem. If you change the number of points, then your sine waveform will start moving anyway. Just like a CRO, oscilloscope, it needs to be triggered so that the same picture stays stagnant on the screen. So you have to trigger at the correct point. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
one suggestion, folks, you can actually use the change layout option in the triple dot menu at the bottom and make just the presentation big. That way you can see the screen more clearly. If you choose spotlight, that will make the presentation very big so that you can see it. Just a suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kumar. Okay. So now let's, since many of you are seeing, let's go back and look at why not try our 1 Hertz is still there. Let me just put this audio sync back. Okay. I'm going to put this audio sync back. So I'm going to press E button to enable it. No changes there. I will just bypass this throttle because that is not required now. Because the audio sync has an audio card which has a clock and it is running at 32 kilohertz because we set it already there. Okay, 1 Hertz waveform, all again same, nothing changed. I just play it. You don't expect to hear anything. But what's happening? What's happening? This is 1 Hertz. You can see very clearly it's 1 Hertz. 1 Hertz, no? And 6.8 to 7.8 second, 1 Hertz. Look, GNU Radio learning has opened your ears. It has become much, much sharper now. Oh, our volume control, yeah, it's here. So let me put it down. Okay, friends. You see now, look at the flow graph. I exactly have 1 Hertz. And our audio sync all of a sudden started playing it. Are people listening or hello?
I can hear you.
So how are we hearing 1 Hertz then?
We can't hear anything, sir.
No, you heard. No, I
I
played.
think it has to do something with the different sample rates.
Yeah.
Anything you play on your machine, we can't hear, sir.
Anything I play on my machine, you can't hear.
No, sir.
Why not? Because you have to switch on your speaker. No.
No, sir. I wasn't able to hear anything from your machine, but in my GNU Radio, I can hear everything.
Yeah. So are you hearing? Here is a flow graph. Are you hearing a sound or
No,
not?
sir.
I can't
No.
hear, CB. I can't hear.
No, sir.
Okay. Here is a standard utility I'm going to give you. So you can see my, so I have this camera. Where is my camera? Let me watch my camera. Where is my camera? Okay, here is my camera. So there is a famous application. You can see this is my my mobile phone. Oh, okay.
Actually, CB, click on your camera once. That way it will become big.
Click on my camera. Yeah.
Click on click on click on that. Pin.
No, man, it's okay. I think Kumar, it's okay. So here is my it's left to right. Okay, yeah, because it is this fellow here. Now I'm going to show you a program called GStrings, very famous or very widely used ones. GStrings. It will simply tell you what the frequency of anything that it is hearing. So it's a frequency meter. It's a sound meter. Okay.
Actually, CB, sorry to disturb. Just say stop presenting temporarily.
Okay.
Now it's very good.
Okay. Good. So now, if you look at this, it's left to right, man. Maybe I should use the other camera.
No. I can see it clearly. Please don't make changes. I see it correctly. 243 hertz.
Oh, you can see it. Okay, good. I am seeing you. Yeah. Okay. So 243 hertz. So now I will play the song, and you can see how much. Okay, I am playing it. Same.
It shows 1 kilohertz.
People, you're all
1 kilohertz.
That's correct.
Showing, sir, but we can't hear.
1 kilohertz.
Yeah. Are you able to see 1 kilohertz on his phone screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
That is a direct recording I am doing from the sounder-meter of my computer, of my mobile phone. GStrings is the application, and it is showing you exactly what the frequency is being played out. It is 1 kilohertz. Okay. So what is the magic? How does 1 hertz become 1 kilohertz? That is the real understanding that we require between a software radio and a hardware radio. We have to have this visualization that 1 hertz has a definite meaning, which is different from the software meaning of 1 hertz. Okay, so we can see what is happening is that 1 hertz sampled at 32 is bringing values like what we saw on the screen. Okay, I can go to the screen now, present, and explain to you what is happening. Where is this thing? Volume. Let me cut the volume down. Oh, volume is connected to the. Okay. Present button. Okay. Okay, so here is the thing. Let me just go on one piece of it. Okay, and let me make it stem plot. So the values that are generated as 0, sine 1 by 32, sine 2 by 32, sine 3 by 32, 4 by 32, etc., all the way up to sine 32 by 32. Pi. Okay, of course, it has to have all the appropriate 2 pi should be there. Okay. Frequency is 1 hertz. So sine 2 pi into 0, 2 pi into 1 by 32, 2 pi into 2 by 32, it's 2 pi into 32 by 32. These is the values which are given. These are the values which are given to an audio sink. And the audio sink is simply dragging this sine wave into it and playing out through the speaker. But what is the speed at which the audio device is operating? The audio device is operating at 1/32K, which means for the audio device, it simply reads this, puts the successive samples at 1/32,000 seconds apart. So how many samples does the audio sync gets in a second? 32,000. 32,000 such samples are packed into 1 second. So which means that this waveform actually has become 1 kilohertz, because 32,000, this is only 32. So 1,000 such waveforms are packed and eaten by the audio source in a second. So 32,000 such pieces. Though the audio source only generated at this rate, the source means the signal source only generated at this rate, the audio sync consumed 10 times this in one go. Because of that, the signal became 1 kilohertz, and it will play out nicely as 1 kilohertz, as my G-Strings external program already showed you. Okay, so what the meaning of this is that this fellow here, this numbers that you're seeing here really do not have much meaning, except that it's a relative meaning. It says that frequency is 1, sample rate is 32, means every cycle you generate 32 samples. If I replace frequency by 1,000, sample rate by 32,000, it will generate the exact same waveform. 32 samples per cycle. Does not matter what the frequency of this thing is. Okay, the sampling rate is 32 times, it's going to generate exactly this job. Okay, subject to modulo divisions, modulo constraints, that if you put 1.2 and 32 point something, then there will be slight differences of where the sampling takes place. Okay, so the software is all about generating an array of values. This is called digital signals. They are just an array of dead values, right? Hardware is trying to match that to an analog signal. Analog signal has a life. There is time associated factors to it. So simply these digital dead signals are given life by the audio sync. The dead signals can be written by 1 hertz sampled at 32 hertz or 1 kilohertz sampled at 32 kilohertz. The same array will be created, and the audio sync will play out it as 1 kilohertz. So meaning of a software waveform has to be associated with the time given by some other device. If I change the speed of this to 16 kilohertz, now if I play out, what is happening? 16 kilohertz. Okay, so you have to choose the thing you cannot give. You have to choose it from this range, 16 kilohertz. What is happening is that only 16K samples will be taken, right, every second. Because of that, not so many cycles will come. Only half the number of cycles that we already saw will come into this 1 second picture.
Sir,
Okay, yes, please.
once in the audio sync,
Yeah.
please put the sample rate to 500.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking. But these audio cards are meant to
sir.
work.
I'm getting a runtime error if I put 500.
Yeah, there's a reason. So, Saket, the audio cards are built in for certain speeds only. So, standard speeds of an audio card, the usual speeds are 3 of them are available: 48 kilohertz, 32 kilohertz, and 44.1. 44.1 is to meet the CD requirement, because many things will also play CDs. So for that, 44.1 is required. So sound cards, many of them have 44.1. And because 44.1 has, it's not a good number to be divided by 2 and played around, etc. 48K or a number around it is widely used. So this, most audio cards will give you 48K, new ones, right? Slightly older ones, you will see they are only 24K and 44.1. So audio card can only work. It depends on the frequency divider that you have on your onboard circuit. That only certain frequencies it can support. So please don't put arbitrary frequencies. It won't work. You go inside the audio sync. It will tell you what it can support. 16, 22, 24, 32, 44.1, 48. This is a very costly audio card, by the way. So it has much more options like this middle options. Okay, so your card may not play, but then you can choose. If the 16 is available, just choose 16. And now I will play and I will show the G strings to tell you how much frequency it is. Oh my God, now I was saying there's a way, but you can see that.
Yeah, just stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
500 hertz.
You can all see it's 500 hertz. Okay, that is because it's perfectly reasonable if you now understood the point. Now let me present back. You can see what has happened is that it's 16 kilohertz. So here we have 32 samples in a cycle we have taken. 16 kilohertz we are dragging means 500 such cycles that we are dragging into this. 32 into 500 will give you 16 kilohertz. So that is why 500 hertz was used in that sample, was seen on the screen. Okay. So the meaning of a digital signal is nothing but a dead array of values, and a hardware device or a timing device, just like, or maybe I should be apolitical and a-religious. So just like somebody infusing life into whatever object you have, here is like we infuse life into the dead digital signal. But then the way we blow time depends entirely on the hardware device. Okay, I think this took much more than what I planned. I planned for some 30 minutes and it took me 1 hour to come here. But more important is that you get here, get to the stage. There are some curiosities. Now, Ashwati is here. Okay. Kumar has kindly taken care of some of these questions. Thank you. How to change the sample rate? Yeah, you can do 2 ways. One is directly go change here, put some number, and then you come here and choose in the audio sync that number, whatever that number is, right? That you can choose. But don't put arbitrary numbers, your card won't work. It will complain. Okay. Now, yeah, throttle we have disabled 1 hertz and 32. Ashwati is saying frequency set to 1 hertz, sampling rate of throttle to 32. Watch out, Ashwati, that it is not only that sampling rate of throttle, but this fellow here was also 32. So this is 32, this is 32. Okay, and this is also 32. This is not very important, whatever number you show there, but it has to be 32, 32. Okay, actually then you will see it. If not, yeah, good, it worked. Sample rate 2 frequencies, so higher sample rate should not cause problems. Dago, we will answer this as the course goes on. There is a very, very beautiful theory behind how these things are. Okay. Unable to change sample rate in time sync. Yeah, absolutely no problem. You can do that. Sample rate time sync. Just go double click. Okay, here. Sample rate. You can just put any number that you want. Okay, it will appear as it is. This is just for display purposes. It does not change anything to the actual nature but your readings will appear wrong if you put wrong numbers. That's all. Okay, so you can change just like that I showed. You can even put here, for example, not just numbers, but I can put here SAM rate star 0.5. So fine. Okay, it will take, all those things will work. Okay, just about not putting at the correct place or putting a wrong pin. Ashu, this X max button is stuck. Yeah, it can happen. So what you have to do is that it cannot run beyond a certain point. You cannot just keep on going to some bigger numbers just like that. Okay, because there is a if you take more and more time, what is happening is that you are packing more and more samples into the screen, and the screen will fail at a certain point because there is a finite precision. Your screen may be 1024 cross 780 or something like that. You cannot go beyond that many, right? So it will play smarter, interpolate, and do a lot of things, but simply it cannot just go as high as possible, right? So you can only go till a certain point. That's why Xmax is stuck. Okay, I will advise you outside the class of how to even see that signal. Okay, let's do something more quickly so that time is running off. Maybe there are more questions. Let me just check. Xmax. Why did we give the sample rate of throttle 32? If you look, this is again, as I said, the first signal source is simply generating an array of values. It does not care about whether throttle runs at 32 or this runs at 45 or something like that. It simply generates the values. The throttle ensures that, okay, this is 32 speed is running, so it just ensures so many samples are passed on to this side. And this sampling rate is 32 is only for display purposes. It will only pick whatever is given by the throttle. So that is why I can put here 45 or into 2. Things will still work out, but my display values will be wrong. Yeah, my display values will be wrong because I put more values here. You can see it's showing up to 16. Okay, so that is the meaning of that. Play around with a little bit with it and you will be familiar with all these numbers. But in the end, everything should be explainable by our theory. Yeah, see, 32 we just gave to tell that, look, that is the speed at which things are operating. You could change that number and play as well, right? But your display will show different things now. It may not be consistent. That's why we keep the correct throttle speed. How to do volume control? I'm not able to reduce the volume of audio sync. I think I missed that part. I'm not doing the volume reduction of the audio sync at the audio sync. We are doing here. We are putting an amplitude volume control here at the amplitude of the source itself. And then I put the volume control, same button here, and change it from 0 to 1. So you can put the volume amplitude to 0 here, nothing will come out. Okay, audio sync as such, here we are not used anything to control the volume. Okay, your computer's volume button is what will control the actual hardware. You can use that to control. Where are the more questions? Have we disabled throttle? Yes, we have disabled throttle. It's not disabled, it's bypassed. If you just go there, it is bypassed. Okay, if you just press enable, it will come up and just go bypass. Bypass because I want to retain the line. It should go all the way to time sync. That's why I bypassed it. Okay. So thank you, Saket, you answered it. Kankan, I'm not able to run the GUI time sync while putting the block run button is disabled. Can you once more show the step? No problem. So you come here. Okay, go away. Q, T, time sync, double click here, bring here, and go inside, make it float first. Very important. Sampling rate is okay. Make it float. Okay, now connect. Okay, now this button will come up. Okay, if the button does not come up, if you click this red button, it will show you what the error is. If it is a type mismatch, then that's exactly the problem. Yeah, thank you, Kumar. Kumar has answered that. Okay, now let's go. Let's show something more. Maybe I'll do one more experiment only, because the complex experiment we will do for another day. So I had some more difficult experiments, which we'll do another day. This itself took time, more than what I checked, but I hope it was useful for you to understand what sampling rate is and how can you hear a 1 Hz signal, because the hardware can convert a 1 Hz digital signal to any kilohertz that it likes. Okay, provided it has a facility to run at that speed. So that is the reason. So we go to our second experiment. Our second experiment, if you remember, what was that? Playing with audio and AM transmission. I am not sure AM transmission I'll reach, but I'll show you how to play with audios. Okay, good. That because then you can generate a lot of audio to play things, record things, etc. So let's take a Qt-GUI. Okay. Qt-GUI. Okay, and I am going to use a standard speed. What is a good standard speed? 44100 CD quality sound. Okay. Then I am going to generate. Maybe I should show you something colorful first. No. Okay. Maybe I should show you something colorful so that you're not bored. So I take an audio source now. So we used audio sync earlier. Now I'm taking audio source. Come here. Nice fellow. Audio source. I go inside. I want to show you something nice. So why not? I will let you use this pulse monitor. In the device name, just type pulse monitor. Okay. If you are on a Linux terminal, sometimes this may create crib. But I will give you a fix. But let's say, what is this pulse monitor? Pulse monitor is simply it monitors whatever happens on this audio. So let's put a, what is that sync you want? Okay. Good. Here is some sync. This is a sync. A very nice sync. It's called Qt-GUI waterfall sync. Don't worry about the name. Just go inside, convert it into float. Okay. And feed the fellow in. Very, very simple experiment. That is all. And of course, we'll save it. File, save. Radio. And let's say audio 2. Audio 2. Let's simply play.
Sir?
Yes.
On Ubuntu, for this GUI waterfall sync, I'm able to see only one option on the left.
Qt-GUI waterfall sync.
Yeah. In this,
Is
there
there
are 3 options. There are 3 frequencies, right?
Yeah. So you see waterfall sync. You can choose it.
I'm getting only one option.
I'm only getting one option too. No. Waterfall sync.
No, sir. There's in frequency and between something at the beginning of the block.
You just type waterfall and search. Control of waterfall and
No,
search.
sir. I got the block, sir. But it's different for me than what it is for you.
No problem. No problem. Don't worry about it at all. Just connect whatever is the in to the out. Okay.
There are in frequency and BW. There are 3 for this for you.
Yeah, no issues. This is just a visibility problem, a variant difference between the versions. I'm running 3.8. It's difficult to get it working in Windows. That is why we did not recommend 3.8 for you. But the same thing, there is no performance difference or anything. The lines, etc., are more curvy in 3.8, and some blocks have some additional features which facilitate more hardware integration. That's why you will see many more blocks here. This black colored blocks, they are all suitable for hardware integrations. But we are not seeing any hardware now. Connect directly Qt waterfall sync to the audio source. And this is what you see. What are you seeing? It's a nice plot. Maybe I'll just play something. I have some music instrument here. I just play to see if it picks up. So you can see what is happening. Right now it is picking up what I am speaking. Okay. So the audio is giving you a complete visualization of at what time, what frequency is being spoken at this time. Okay. In fact, even, okay, I'm not a singer, or not even, I am a very, very poor singer. In fact, my kids run away and put something on their ears when I sing. But still, just to tell you how this things work, if I put a pure knot, or if I just spell out a pure frequency, it will show here. For example, if I simply say sa, then if I go to like sa, ri, ga, so you can see that that sa, ri, ga comes direct at that point. Okay, you can see the tones and overtones, etc. Okay. So this is waterfall sync, or it's called a time frequency sync. You can see that how precise imprint of whatever I have spoken at whatever time is contained inside this this picture here. This is only showing the magnitude, but this is modern compressions, audio compressions and audio processing highly uses this kind of time frequency algorithms. Okay.
Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, on Ubuntu it's not working, sir. We are getting a runtime error.
Yeah, no problem. So Ubuntu, let me just fix that. In Ubuntu, because this is one place where actually Windows works and Ubuntu does not work. Okay. Occasionally, no, it's usually the other way at all, other way all the time. So here, what you should do is simple. I'll just show you. You just need an audio RC file. Okay. So here is. So you just need these two things put in a. Sorry, it's not audio RC. It's in your base directory Ubuntu. Just go and create some file called .asoundrc and just cut paste this thing there. That's all.
Sir, paste the link in the chat box.
Sorry.
Paste the link in the chat.
Yeah.
Copy paste.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so first time I have seen something in this thing where Ubuntu does not work. You need a little additional thing where Windows it's
No. The reason is because in Ubuntu you have to set the source as pulse. So you just have to double click on the audio sync and choose the source as pulse. Then it will work. Yeah. So if you
Kumar, this
sorry?
Kumar, this device name at the audio source is Pulse Monitor, and this, it checks for that audio RC file, A sound RC file. And
Correct.
when it does not find it, it thinks that it's not set properly.
Okay.
So if you just simply put it in, I just checked it on the other machine that I have on the left side, that you just paste, create a file, vi or nedit a sound rc in your base directory, your home directory, and just add these lines that you're seeing on the screen, which is also available on the shared web link. Double click there, you will come here. Okay. But the bad part about that Windows version is that it will only look at the system sounds. You have to change the microphone to the external microphone to make it pick up sounds that you are seeing. Okay, that's the additional work you have to do. I have not done that. But if you play a song from your terminal in Linux, you will see this. Maybe I'll switch over to the Linux and show you how it is working. Okay, I'll just go there. So here now. Yeah, by the time
actually, let me share.
Yeah, Kumar can share. Okay, good, no problem. Share now. But notice that. Yeah, go ahead. I will close this.
Sorry. No, sure. I think I'm sharing. Okay. Okay, so what I'm sharing is the waterfall that I'm seeing. This is actually monitoring the signal that is being played through my speaker. For example, if you speak also, it will come and all those. For example, if I remain silent for a short while, like now, just hold on. You can see that the amplitude fell, and the moment I started speaking, it came back. So here is what I did. I just created a waterfall sync directly, and then the audio source device name I chose as Pulse. Okay. Now that may work for some of you who are using Ubuntu. It could work. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just set the device source to Pulse.
Yeah.
So that is something which you can do.
Correct. Yeah, that is possible.
Yeah. Yes. I'll stop sharing now.
Yeah, you can check out. Pulse may be the correct name of the audio player. That's simpler.
Yeah, work for me. Many people are confirming it's working. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see, if you're on Linux, don't give the proper source as Pulse. Professor Kumar just showed it's Pulse. How is the outside audio connected to the software? Yes, Ashwati. The connection is through the audio sync. Audio source. Audio source represents the hardware card. So it directly reads from the card, from the buffer, whatever data, and streams it to the software program. So this is the concept of software-defined radio. Part of the concept of software-defined radio. Hardware can be abstracted and given as soft connections. Yeah, CI is work. Very good. So you can see, you can play around and see. Now what happens is that I should also tell you, we are able to see that particular waterfall plot because our mic in the computer responds to audio sounds or what is called baseband signals. Okay. Now, if you are on high frequencies like FM radios, television stations, mobile communications, etc., also you will be able to see exactly a similar plot. If some terminal is transmitting, you will see that it is transmitting at that instant on that frequency. And the utility to do that is called GQRX. And Genie Radio ships with that. So at a later day, if you're interested, we will show you some live demonstrations using GQRX, which is simply shifting the plot that you're seeing to higher and higher frequency, which is called passband. Okay, so now this is a baseband GQRX or frequencies are we showing. Okay, now let's do, so that is just to show you that, look, you can see this audio source and how do you do recording? Let's also tell you how to record. So you take a audio source, sorry, that's already there. This is our audio source. And we don't need this. just get rid of this pulse monitor. So then it will take the default, which in Linux it's ALSA pair. So you will get, just put the audio source, take off the device name, and then just put it into a wave file sync.
Sir, please
With a
present
name.
your screens.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm not presenting. Thank you. Okay, so all we said is that retain the audio. Let me just go back. So we had this. I removed the sync. Now I don't want it. And then I went inside this and changed the pulse monitor. I just took it away. Okay. You can retain it as pulse also. I think it should work, but I have not checked because it will default to the ALSA monitor. So player. So I think it should work if you just take it off. And now I brought a wave file sync. And in that wave file sync, you choose a file, whatever you like, but not in this directory, go somewhere else. And then record song dot wave. Okay. And bits per sample, it's usually good to put it as 16. That's a standard recording quality. Okay, so you 16 bits in each sample you record. Connect the party here. Okay, now you play out something. You can play like the song that I have written, I have said, or let me just play out some simple stuff on my computer, on my mobile phone. Here is some just musical sound. Right, so here is, and if I press record, I have to save it first. Let's save it first, save as. In Windows, you have to save it. This was our audio 3, let's say. Audio 3. Record, and then whatever, something's running behind, yeah. So it's running. Okay. Then you, so it is recording now, so I'll switch on. Okay. So now this song is recorded and kept for you. You can just bring it back using a audio source, or actually there's a wave file source. Just check for wave file source. Bring him here, and then your audio sync. Bring that part here. Okay, and choose the file that you have recorded to. Where was that song? There was some wave file, no? This was the one. Yeah, I think it was one. We can check. Record song dot. Yeah, record song is what I do. Then I can connect this. Okay, of course I'll disable these things because now I don't need this. Okay.
Sir, this we can't hear, sir.
Hello.
This we cannot hear.
You cannot hear.
No, sir.
What do you mean? You can hear me, no?
I can hear you, but the sound played out by the machine we can't hear.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I can. I have another way to do. Don't. Only play for a small time. I will only play for a small time.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so just to tell you that you can hear it, you can tell it clearly, but you can hear it. But the thing is, I have two computers, so we can create a lot of looping on the sound if I play it. No, it is not. It is not just disturbance. It is because there was a problem in the. It is absolutely clear. Who is saying it is disturbance?
Oh, sir, it's just audio loop, sir.
No, there is some feedback. The feedback causes it
Audio
to
loop.
get amplified for us.
Yeah, I yeah, of course. Yeah, of course there is because there is a loop through which these things are running when I put it in two machines. That is why. But you could perfectly hear at your end if you do this program correct.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, I can record my own things and see if you want to, for example, your class things to be recorded by GNU Radio, you can just use this. It will record and keep it for you. The bad part is that it is creating a WAV file, which is an uncompressed format. So it creates the values as such it is. It is great for GNU Radio based processing because you get the values and you can do whatever you want with it. Okay, any other questions? Let me just see.
Sir, I had a doubt.
Yeah, it is very much.
Please ask. Please ask.
Yeah, it is just
please ask.
Anish, it's not disturbance. You please do it yourself and see. Disturbance is coming because of the two computers being looping back. So if I switch off one, like I'm not switching on, then perhaps you will hear it now.
Can't hear. Can't hear. Sorry, can't hear.
Yeah, it's okay. Kumar, you can hear me, no?
Your voice is clear.
Yeah, but then this sound is coming out through the speaker.
Yeah, someone had a doubt. Please ask.
Sir, when I play that recorded file in the computer application, so it sounded different. It was kind of slow, and when I played that recorded file in the GNU Radio in the audio sync, it was actual sound. So how is that difference?
Yeah, that is okay. It's understandable. We expect such trouble also. That is because GNU Radio recording of that WAV file, it is creating the number of entries for each record. It generates is different than what is expected by a standard audio device. So if you compare the speeds and you throw away samples, for example, if you send it to me, whatever you have recorded, and we will convert it into a form that is suitable to be played by your Audacity or your audio player. So it is just about the correct samples being placed and the formatting. Right? So your standard, your player may be expecting 32 bits to come for every value, etc., whereas we recorded at 16. So if we change the...
I sampled at 32 kilohertz.
No, not about sampling. There is something called bits per sample. See here?
Okay, that.
Yeah, so this is expecting at that rate. So we are given it the correct format of file, whereas your player at the other end may not read the correct header to find out this is exactly 16. So we have to match the samples to what your player is doing, and that is possible once I know what player you're using and what is the rate at which it is playing, then we can condition.
I played that on VLC media player, sir.
Yeah, so now I will work on it and I will get it working on VLC player, looking at what format it is reading the WAV file as and how many bits of precision it is looking at. Sometimes it may look at 8-bit precision. So if you make this record at 8 and throw it to VLC, it may play. Okay, but now that our wave player may not play.
Hello, sir.
If I put it at 8, it is expecting 16, so it will fail to recognize it unless I set things correctly. So it is a compatibility problem with the settings. That's all. Data is there.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, but for GNU Radio, just keep this 16 as a setting because it will play out flawlessly for you.
Audio was exactly the same, but it was played in the slow motion.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I understand that. So either you put the bits per sample as 16 or 32 and then feed it to VLC, it will play it correctly.
Okay, sir, will that?
Yeah, play it slow. So I think you should make it 8.
Okay.
Yeah, it will work out.
Thank you.
Okay, so what was our third experiment? We wanted to do this AM transmission of this song. Kumar, please advise what to do.
So I think it depends on the students. I mean, if we can maybe have a follow-up session if required, or we can continue today. So folks, do you have another half an hour, or do you want to try this and then have another session?
Sir, I have a suggestion. Please
Yeah,
record
please go ahead.
for other 2 experiments and post that. We will ask in another section our doubts.
Okay.
Okay.
Live
Fine.
would be longer. We can't complete
Yeah.
the experiments.
Okay, then I think we will do that. If that is the case, then we'll have few minutes if you have any general questions. Do you want, is that okay, Sibi?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
So, yeah. So, folks, now it's time for you to ask any general questions about GNU Radio, capabilities, all those.
Sir, can you hear me?
Please go ahead. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, sir, when I'm playing this audio source, or I mean, when I'm saving this record thing in wave
Yeah, I
file.
can hear. Danny, I can hear. Hemant, I can hear you're playing. So is the bit rate 16 or 8? Here in the wave file, have you set it as 16 or 8?
16, sir.
And your, then okay, then your audio card is at 44.1 or 32?
44.1.
All the places, no? 44.1, 44.1, everywhere, no?
Yes, sir.
And while playing back, is it also at 44.1?
Actually, when I'm running this, I'm getting as I cannot open this file.
Okay.
Hello?
So let's verify. You have 44.1 on all these places. That is
Yes,
correct,
sir.
no? 3 places 44.1.
Yes, sir.
1 place you have 16 bits per sample.
Yeah.
And then you disabled the audio source and the wave file while you were playing.
No, actually, my song hasn't been recorded.
Sorry?
When I'm recording, actually, I should record this song, right, which I'm playing.
No. What? See, this audio recording is from your mic, so it will record and then you will play. We are not doing it at one time.
Yeah, it didn't get recorded. I mean, it is not opening.
I didn't get recorded at all. So that is because you may not have permission. You go to a place directory where you have permission. You go here, click open. Don't save anywhere here. Just go to somewhere else where you have permission.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then save it. It will come.
Okay, I will try.
But I'm hearing a sound behind.
No, actually, I guess it's a fan. Nothing else.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, I have doubts.
Yeah, please.
Given a audio,
Yeah.
can we find the bitrate sampling rate of the audio using GNU Radio?
Given an audio, you want to find the bitrate, sample rate, and then?
Using GNU Radio.
Yeah. In fact, this information is typically in the header of each program that you're looking at, no? Each file that you're looking at.
So if we get that information, we can give it to audio output.
Yeah, and we can correctly pick it up. And in fact, even this Professor Kumar may answer this, that there is this Audacity kind of program which can clearly find out. Kumar?
Yeah. You don't even need Audacity. Of course, Audacity is one. In Windows, you can right click and say properties, you can check. On Linux, there is a file option. I'll just try to give you an example. One second. Yeah, so I'll show you an example. I'll share my screen. So yes, you can open it in any audio player and that will tell you. Otherwise, are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
are you able to see my screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you see in Ubuntu and Linux, there is a file. If you click file, if you just type file and the file name, it will say format RIFF Little Indian Wave 16-bit mono 16,000 hertz. So that way you can basically find out the properties. I'll do it for something else. Just 1 second. For example, I have some music collection. I have some reverb. Let's see. Oh, that's empty. Sorry. There is this. This is actually 22,050 hertz. So the file program will tell you. Of course, you can also open it with Audacity, and Audacity will also be able to tell you. Just 1 second, if you wait. Yeah. So if you look at this, looks like a chirp like thing. In Audacity also, you can basically just see over here. It says mono 22,050 32-bit float. So you can basically just understand it from there.